Hello everyone, welcome to an analysis of dance, where we discuss the movements and debuts of the Billboard Hot Dance charts in immaculate detail, with in-depth reviews of each debut each week. I mean, let's not dodge this conversation, we're gonna get a fairly prominent Fred Again album bomb next week. The streaming is strong, the sales are growing well, it's gonna happen, I can only hope. That kind of leaves this week as a bit of an interesting transitional week, where we got some pretty diverse debuts primarily higher up the charts with more movements than usual. I mean, it's definitely a different week compared to usual, I wouldn't really call it boring, but more on that later. Our top 10, where I'm Good Blue by David Guetta and BB Rexa at number 1, has continued stability. This is not going away anytime soon. Both of Elton John's charting hits of Hold Me Closer with Britney Spears at number 2 and Cold Heart P&A remix with Dua Lipa at number 3 really are relying hard on radio for longevity. Although I can see the former starting to fall really hard soon, radio has already nearly peaked with this. But what's more concerning come with Miss You by Robin Scholes and Oliver Tree at number 4, where it's got a huge streaming presence even if radio is non-existent just yet. It should also be noted that the controversy is once again the main factor why this hack job of a remix is still gaining, even if the original remixer finally did get something out of this. More on that later. Interestingly, BZAP Music Station Volume 52 by BZAP and Quevedo seems to be getting back up to number 5, where it's just really just remaining stable. It's probably going to get back on the Hot 100 soon when the Taylor Swift and Lil Baby album bombs fade away. That is, however, absolutely not the case for Numb by Marshmello Khalid at number 6, and especially Break My Soul by Beyonce at number 7, where the huge radio losses are tanking both of these. They could be out really soon. This does mean that Murder in My Mind by Court Hell at number 8 and BOTA Baddest of Them All by Lisa Rose and Interplanetary Criminal at number 9 really have the chance to rise up, where their presences on streaming and radio respectively have just given them plenty of upward momentum. That just leaves Don't You Worry by the Black Eyed Peas, Shakira and David Guetta at number 10, where with what's coming below what's on the charts, this could be gone soon and good riddance. But what's not going to do that are falls and fall-offs, where we didn't really get much of note in the latter outside of Jungle by Fred Again falling out yet again. Look, I'm still shocked that song stuck around as long as it has. For our falls though, we actually saw some pretty notable losses. I mean, yes, Free Out J-Bo Faruko was going to expectedly fall off the debut to 29, and All By Myself by Alex Segala and Ellie Goulding lost all the gains to 49, and hell, even if I love both songs, seeing Fred Again lose Bleh Better With Time to 50, and Turn On The Lights Again with Swedish House Mafia and Future at 48 isn't all that surprising. Really, they could both rebound next week, we'll have to see. That just leaves the sudden drop for Bad Memories by Medusa and James Carter featuring Ellie Duhay and Fastboy to 26. Really, it's already on the year end, so I'm not too upset by this. And like you would know, Autumn Leaves by Courthouse Scarlett and Corpse down hard to 41. I'm shocked that one isn't really catching on. Interestingly, we didn't actually see a single jump this week. Although we did get a comeback that surprised me. Miracle Maker by Dom Dollar featuring Clementine Douglas back yet again all the way up to 38. Mainly thanks to a few remixes and residual airplay traffic. I gotta hope this holds on, it's a great song. But on to 4 mostly high new arrivals, beginning with number 46, Lionheart Fearless by Joel Corry and Tom Grennan. Okay, I will admit, after history surprised me with how generally good it is, I was kind of curious how Joel Corry would follow that up. Even if that song did flop on the charts, it showed more refinement than the majority of Joel Corry's previous singles. I was quite impressed by it. So okay, new single with Tom Grennan on vocals, who I'd argue works best on upbeat material of this kind. Did this work? Honestly, this might be Joel Corry's best song to date. Yeah, I'm dead serious about that. For starters, Tom Grennan sounds excellent. His huge vocal range combined with the fantastic vocal arrangement gives him the sort of bombast that works perfectly for this kind of song, especially with the self-empowerment lyrics that really fit the sound super well. Speaking of which, this almost leans on elements of trance with those kicks, especially against an absolutely gorgeous, spacious melody and terrific build-ups that give the song a ton of firepower and a really great atmosphere. It's shocking how good this sounds. Honestly, between this and History, Joel Corry has really been improving considerably with his singles. I mean, shame this will probably flop next week and be gone, but yeah, this is excellent. Kinda has me back on board with Joel Corry. More of this, please. This is really damn promising. Number 25, Delilah, Pull Me Out of This by Fred Again. The fact this debuted so high should be surprising, until you realize that this not only samples Delilah Montague, but that also seems to be a fan favorite from the Boiler Room set. Hell, this won a poll made by Fred again to decide what song gets released early. Clearly there's a huge amount of people who are seeking this out. I say that because out of all the singles, it's probably the one I like the least. I mean, that's not saying much. It's still a great song with terrific melodies bouncing off a smoother house beat and Delilah's very pretty vocals. But I think what holds this back slightly for me are the drops, which feel like they're missing an extra gear to fully get going. They're very pleasant and create a very nice vibe, but some harder kicks could have made them even more engaging for me. Still, I get why people love this. It's a really damn good song. I'm happy it looks like it's going to get a big gain next week. I just think there are better songs on the album that hit higher highs. More on that next week, but in the meantime, yeah, it's really strong. I like this a lot. Number 16, Worst Day by ILLENIUM and Max.
Worst day of my life.
At this point, it's goddamn draining seeing any ILLENIUM song chart on the dance charts, mostly because its quality has dropped significantly outside of all that really matters. The buzz certainly didn't help with this, where people were calling this a mid-tier retread of Good Things Fall Apart, and wow, they were right. This is as blatantly lazy as you can get. Seriously, between the repetitive guitar melody, the major key chord progression, the higher vocals from Max that sound significantly worse than Jon Bellion, the faster tempo, the chipmunk vocals over the literal same drop, it's literally just a significantly worse version of Good Things Fall Apart with less atmosphere, less groove, a considerably worse vocalist, and no originality. I mean, I'll give it that at least sounds a little bit more inoffensive and has a bit more groove than ILLENIUM's recent material, but when it's this unoriginal and generally forgettable, I can't excuse this. Also, it doesn't give me a whole lot to say. Not a good song, another dud from ILLENIUM, skip it. And finally, number 11, Miss You by Southstar. Funny, I was predicting that this would eventually debut, and while I found the Robin Schulz remix to be flat garbage, a lot of it came from the comparisons to this original remix. Seriously, it's telling how a few small volume changes and alterations can really impact a track. The house groove is rawer, a bit grittier, less polished sounding, but it matches the lyrics quite well and fits with the appeal of a lot of Oliver Tree's own material. Yes, the vocals are much quieter, but when they're easily the worst part of the Robin Schulz version, I'd gladly take it, especially when they just sound like part of the instrumentation anyways. Yes, the melody sounds a bit drier, again, it fits with the sound of everything else. There's just no reason to listen to the Robin Schulz version when you have this original that sounds way better, feels more authentic, and more importantly, isn't stolen. Stream this instead, it's a lot better, it's a solid remix. I'm glad it and Southstar are getting the credit and respect that Schulz doesn't deserve. Let's make this a thing. And yeah, another mostly solid week. Although there is a very clear worst of the week with Worst Day by ILLENIUM and Max. Shocker. But the best was actually pretty tough. I can't believe I'm saying this, but even though I really like Delilah, Lionheart Fearless by Joel Corry and Tom Grennan is getting the best of the week. Look, it's more surprising, maybe expectations played into it, but man, it is a fucking great song. I'm really happy it exists. Next week, Fred Again album bomb. Stay tuned and be excited for a lot of positive comments coming out of me. But yeah, that's all for this episode of an analysis of dance. See you next time.